I am finally back to my hometown in Italy after 4 months in New York City. Hi everyone! If you don't know me yet, I am Mary Jane. I travel full-time since March 2018. I spent the last 4 months in New York City, and in this video I'm gonna tell you the 6 things I miss the most about Italy while staying there. In this list I'm not going to include family or friends because to me it's quite obvious that I miss them. Especially this time, I must say, my family and especially my parents, I miss them a lot. I guess quite obvious from an Italian, right? Or not. By the way, I'm not naked, I just have a strapless kind of thing, it doesn't show in the upper body. Number 6, the silence. And by silence I mean not quietness, actual silence. I arrived in the very late evening the day before yesterday, and one of the first things I noticed is that there was something weird with my ears, and it took a while to understand what it was. It was just silence. And I'm not talking about the lack of clear noises, but I'm talking about the background noises. I didn't realize, to be honest, that when I was staying in Manhattan, there was always a background mix of noises going on. And probably here there are not. So I just it was so weird. The sensation was like having the head stuck into a cotton ball. I don't know how to explain it. It was very weird. It was like, you know, after a rock concert, you go home and you have this sensation where you cannot hear anything. That was kind of the sensation. But I didn't go to a rock concert. This thing was super weird. Also because I didn't realize that in Manhattan there was so much noise. Number 5. The pace and the way of eating. And to be honest, this is not the only point in the list that regards food, you will see. I missed a lot the fact of eating slowly. Because if you eat slowly, you actually enjoy the food that you're eating. You don't just eat to feed yourself, which is what people do in America usually. I don't talk about the whole America. I know that in the West Coast, for example, the situation is different, but all the cities that I visited in America were quite similar. There is a very different conception and perception of food between the Italian culture and the American culture. And by the way, I made 1 year ago, after the very first time that I went to America, an entire video dedicated to cultural differences between these two countries regarding food. So if you want to check it out, I will leave it in the cards here. It was one of my first videos on YouTube, so it's a little bit boring. You can speed up the playback if you want in the settings of the video. But I think that what I say is very interesting. And also I was mentioning the way of eating, which means sitting at a table. Big table, comfortable one, with a comfortable chair, with a tablecloth and with plates, water, everything set up for a comfortable meal. As you probably know, in America it's very common to eat just on the go. You just grab a sandwich and you eat while you walk or while you are commuting or stuff like that. And actually dining is not so common, especially in New York. It's like not really a thing. It's just a fancy thing that people with lots of money do in dining restaurants. But it's like a fancy thing. 4th thing, the bidet. Well, this is a little bit embarrassing, but what can I say? We Italians use the bidet all the time. It's an everyday thing that we use in the bathroom. I don't know how many of you know what it is. It's like a little sink that you can actually sit on and wash your private parts after you go to the toilet and do your business, which I think it's an amazing invention. I don't even think it's Italian, maybe it was French, but people in French don't actually use it nowadays. The bidet is something that only Italians have, as far as I know. Even if I've heard that nowadays in American rich houses, they tend to build the bathrooms with a bidet. I don't know why, but I think it's better because I love the bidet. Number 3. Breathing real air in indoor spaces in the summer. Which means not conditioned air. In New York, in the summer, and I'm not talking about hot weather summer, I'm talking about even 22 degrees Celsius. They activate the air conditioning. in every indoor space. And they make it so freaking cold that I have to wear the sweater and the jacket in the summer with 24 degrees outside just because they like air conditioning. I really don't understand that. And also I met a lot of Europeans in New York and apparently nobody likes it. So now that I'm back in Italy, I'm really enjoying the fact that I can stay in an apartment and the windows are open and the air is circulating and it's real. Because let's face it, conditioned air is not real air. It's filtered, it's drier, it's colder, it's not real air. It's like they make the air fake. Number 2, the social side of meals. Unfortunately, in Italy, I grew up having this habit that for every meal of the day except breakfast, the family sits all together around the table and then we start eating. And if one member of the family is late for some reason, we wait for him or for her. And when you start serving the food on the plates, and maybe you were served for first, you don't start eating from the plate. You wait until all the people around the table have food on their plates and are able to start eating. I mean, there are very clear social rules when it comes to eating a meal in Italy that are not existent in New York. First thing is, in New York it's very common to eat alone, whereas in Italy, even if you're not living with your family, you ask to your flatmate at noon if he wants a little bit of your pasta, so you can kind of have company during your lunch and stuff like that. Whereas in New York it's really not like that. People don't even really try to coordinate their lunch times or dinner times to eat together at the same time. They just don't care. If a person has time at 1 p.m. and wants to eat and he's gonna meet a friend at 1:10, he's not gonna wait for the friend to start eating. He's just gonna order and eat, if that makes sense. Well, it doesn't to me. And the first evening I arrived here was actually a perfect example for this point, because normal dinner time for us is between 8 and 9. I was supposed to arrive home at 9:15, so it was actually quite late. But my bus from the airport had delayed, so I ended up arriving at 10:20. And at 10:20 I arrived home and my family was still waiting for me to start having dinner because they wanted us to have dinner all together. And I cannot describe you how beautiful of a sensation it was for me, coming from 4 months of eating alone or eating on the go and having waiters pushing me to finish my meal faster, sitting with my whole family at the table, eating a complete beautiful meal. It was... At first place has to go to the flavor of the food. I cannot hide the fact that I actually suffered a lot during this time in New York for the flavor of the food, or better, for the lack of flavor of fruit and vegetables, and for the exaggerated flavor of everything else. And this was hard, especially in the summer, because summer is the time, at least in Italy, where you eat basically only fruit and vegetables because there are so many and they are delicious, and it's very hot, so you don't feel like eating anything else. You want to eat something fresh. In New York, this was very difficult to do. In New York, fruit and vegetables actually cost even more than cheese and meat. But the problem is not even about the price itself. The problem is that even when you spend all that food on vegetables, they don't taste like anything. They are completely unripe. I don't know what's the matter with Americans. I don't know how they can nourish themselves with such products. For me, it was very hard. Also, the rest of the food is very full of salt and fat. They put cheese everywhere, melted cheese everywhere. I don't know, it was very difficult. So absolutely the thing I missed the most about Italy in New York City was the flavor of the food. If you want to know what I actually did in these 4 months in your city, and specifically in Manhattan, and how I could afford to stay there, I made a video about it and you'll find the link in the description below. Or if you want to continue to watch this kind of content, a little bit cultural and funny to watch, I made a video where I listed the 10 things that I found weird about America. Click on this link here to watch it now. If you like the video, please hit that button, and if you want to see more content about traveling around the world and learning different curious things about cultures, please consider subscribing, because I make this video twice a week. That's all for today. I'm gonna go enjoy my Italian dinner now with my family. I'll see you next time. Bye!